Shalom.
Shalom, everybody.
We're about to get started. We got a couple of things I want to share with you guys about keeping our immune system as strong as possible. There's a number of different ways that the Most High has already organized in our system, and we must be grateful because we know how to handle all of these different viruses, bacteria, funguses, all those different type of conditions that's going on with us out here. Like, we got a big pandemic about this coronavirus, and I want to show some ways that we're actually able to protect ourselves and actually fortify our defense systems. Now, where is your immune system? Where is it? I got a question for everyone that's online, the people that's here. Where is it? Like, does anybody know where it is? Is there a certain location in our body? Anybody can tell me? We can all say what the function of the immune system is, but anybody actually know where it is? It's a hard question for a lot of people. They haven't answered it. Did anybody answer it online? No. Okay. Well, somebody tell me what they think the immune system is. What is it? Some people would say defense, right? Defense system.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a way to protect ourselves from getting sick. So most people would say that. But the immune system is not a specific location. So the immune system has white blood cells in it. It's everywhere. So it's all over the body. Okay, so wherever there's a laceration or a cut or open wound, there has to be some white blood cells there around in that area to actually, start to fight that infection. You don't want any inflammation starting right there. So what these white blood cells do, they're called neutrophils. All right, so some of them, we have a bunch of different types of white blood cells, and we're going to go over them. But the neutrophils are the first ones that come to that site of infection or inflammation. So they're the first one on board, and they are there to respond to that site of infection, and they produce something called cytokines. All right, so cytokines are basically messengers or chemokines that can signal off to other immune cells. So they're only there to basically identify that there's an infection right here, and we need to basically come over there and help out. So the cytokines are found in our hypodermis. I want to show a little picture of what the hypodermis is. This is our second layer of our skin. We're talking about all these different things. A couple of things I want to share. But here is a picture of the hypodermis. See that area where there also is lymphatic vessels right there, and then you got the blood right there? In the hypodermis, there are mast cells, there are dendritic cells, there are antigen presenting cells. Now all of this different terminology is in your worksheets. Antigen presenting cells are basically what you call like anything that has viral protein or foreign materials. So it's an antigen. It just entered the body. So it's an infection. It can come in the mucosal membranes. It can come in our basal layer of our skin. So there are certain cells that actually can go from this basal layer, or basically the hypodermis, into our lymphatic glands. All right, so they can tell other immune cells to come and fight. So what they do is bring along these lymphocytes, and they're located right there in our lymphatic glands. Basically, our lymphatic vessels, our lymph nodes, and all of those different locations in our lymphatic system. So everybody knows what the lymphatic system is, right? So the lymphatic system is like all of these different lymph nodes. You got 600 of them. All right, so They look like little kidneys. So they got an afferent so that white blood cells can enter, and then they got a efferent where actually they become clean and they go back into the actual blood system. So this is a way for them to get rid of everything. Now there is a specific way that the immune system is aligned, and it has to be working in a certain format to get rid of certain viruses and bacteria. We need the T cells, the T helper cells, we need B cells, and they help destroy these infected cells. They basically emit what you call apoptosis, cell programmed death. They allow these cells to basically die. Cancer cells, any viral proteins, they take care of the things that the blood can't handle. So there are no mitochondria inside of your red blood cells. They're all inside of your white blood cells. All right, so we're going to be talking about mitochondrial health and where your DNA actually is. It's not in your blood because interstitial fluid is our white blood cells. And I told you guys in the last class, I think most people know that 75% of our fluid is our interstitial fluid. Can somebody say interstitial fluid? Interstitial fluid. I'll write it down so everybody can know. All right. Interstitial fluid is our lymph fluid. Interstitial fluid. And this is what builds up in lymph nodes. Like when things become inflamed, you know, when there's a cyst, when there's a fibroid. Okay, so this is all hardening up interstitial fluid. So a lot of our eosinophils are there, our basophils are there, our macrophages are there, and those are a part of the immune system that take care of certain, they have specific functions. And this is what I'm going to share with you guys here about the function of how they actually work. So in order to get to the part about the herbs, guys, we've got to understand what's going on in our system and how everything is working. All right, so I'm going to be sharing about the remedies in a second, but the antigen presenting cells, there's a couple of them. There's 3 of them to be exact. The dendritic cells, and this is what I drew up here, is actually a dendritic cell. You can probably blow that up a little bit so they can see, or come over here to see, let them see. But here is an antigen, basically a viral protein or any type of foreign material that comes in. And they're engulfing. Dendritic cells engulf it and present it to another cell, and we're going to get there in a second. All right, so they're messengers. They process all of the different foreign materials and they give it to the lymphatics, the T lymphocytes. So this is a T lymphocyte, and what that has on it is CD4 glycoproteins. If you know anything about CD4 proteins, or basically those are the numbers that go up and down when a person has HIV. They can find out if this system is actually high or low. Usually if the person is up under 200, then they are considered to be an AIDS patient. So they are attached to the T lymphocytes. All right, so the CD4 cells have a substrate, or basically an enzyme that allows the antigen to bind. All right, so the T lymphocyte contains CD4 glycoproteins in their membranes that bind to what they call MHC class II. MHC stands for major histocompatibility complex, basically reading the histamines in your system and what's compatible and how they find out these different antigens inside your body. What they're basically going to be doing is when the CD4 cells, you come around, all right, they take that viral protein, that antigen, and it connects to the CD4 glycoprotein. And it comes over here to the B cells, the B lymphocytes. So these are all antigen presenting cells, so they have to present in a certain format. All right. So the B lymphocytes then gets triggered, and they can bind to the T lymphocyte. So you know that the T lymphocyte has the CD4 glycoprotein on it, and what they're going to do is start dividing it. It's called mitosis. and they differentiate into little plasma cells. All right, so this is what they call antibodies. All right, when a person has antibodies of the herpes virus, and it's only found in the skin cells, you can have, or you can actually have the memory of those cells in the bloodstream. All right, so the memory cells are really good just to know if you're going to be reinfected again, and they're able to handle it a lot efficiently. Now you can get these things out the system because these are proteins. We're dealing with proteins, and we know proteins excrete out of the body as albumin. Albumin goes through the kidneys, goes through the lymphatic system, as well as the urinary system. So we can excrete these things out. We just have to make sure that this process is working efficiently. All right. So how do you enhance this? How do you make this work optimally? All right. So there's certain things that we must do to make sure that we can not become infected, because a lot of times the first thing a virus does is it goes straight to our respiratory system, right? It goes to the cilia of our lungs, and we have to make sure that that is basically taken care of, because those are epithelial cells. All right, those epithelial cells are needing vitamin A. That's what's protecting them. All right, so the cilia of the lungs is a very common place for virus to become just dormant at. They lay there. Until that immune system levels get low, maybe your CD4 cells, your CD8 cells, they all become low. That's when, things can actually become more infectious. All right, so I wrote up here some things about how to do it. Now, we're talking about boosting our immune system. 80% of our immune cells are found where? I think I said this many times before. I've said it many times before. 80% of our immune cells are found in our gut. And we're going to need a couple of things to make sure that those immune cells stay strong. Anybody want to take a guess or a hint of what can make sure? Anybody want to take a guess at that or hint? I'm trying to make us interactive and.
Or dark skin. Wait, you're asking someone?
Yeah. I'm asking everyone. What is that? The agaricus test. We're gonna talk about the agaricus in just a minute.
Oh, I got you.
Yep. But for as our gut, what do we need to do to make sure that our gut is actually our immune cells are healthy? So one particular thing we need is glutamine. This is a tripeptide master antioxidant. Think of that. When we say glutathione, this is what boosts up our immune system. So anything that has cysteine in it, anything that has methylthionine in it, and those definitely create the glutathione. This is when a substance like N-acetylcysteine, I don't think I brought an N-acetylcysteine up here at all, but the supplement N-acetylcysteine has a way to expedite this faster throughout the body, glutathione. So that's one thing that we can use. But my number one herb has all of this in it. It can be what you call a mutalytic. It can help you with your sinuses and respiratory system. Mutalytics are what you call like elderberry. Elderberry is one of those. And elderberry can do so many different things, and we're going to talk about that in a second. But mucus, this has been FDA approved. They have an actual medicine called mutalytic. It's been FDA approved because when a person's cilia becomes so congested with mucus, basically the person can die in its own waste, because the thickening of those mucosal membranes, the viral situation, people should be coughing up and everything. Like, if this was a real coronavirus, it should be acting just like the flu. People should be coughing and, coughing up everything, their lungs. But they're not, they're falling out. They are falling completely out. I've seen footage. I may share that footage with everyone just to share with you guys, because I just feel like it's something that's dealing with technology. And we're dealing with 5G. And I'm just throwing that in there to everyone because you guys are personal. We need to talk about those things and protect ourselves. But it's definitely something that's dealing with 6G, 7G, and it's penetrating our oxygen molecules of our system and then dispersing it, and therefore people are just falling out. All right, so I think I digressed a little bit, but people that are taking steroids, people that are taking antibiotics, guys, we don't need to suppress our immune system. That's what these things are doing. If you take an antibiotic, you're going to end up with yeast. You're going to end up with gut dysbiosis, meaning you're having small bacterial overgrowth in your intestine. You're going to kill off your gut microbiota. These are all of the neurotransmitters that are there. These are the immune cells that are there. And also the bacteria, because we are 70% bacteria. Human genes are bacteria. Your I'm just thinking, but I'm sharing. If there was aliens, and they would probably think that we were nothing but bacteria, because all of our cells are bacteria cells. We have bacterial genes. Okay, so each one creates a mitosis and divide and everything, and creates and replicates, and inside of our cells, that's how they work. But when we take antibiotics, that's what happens. We destroy our bacteria. And it takes a long time to get that probiotic back in your system. And one of the main things we can use without causing any mineral and deficiencies, anything like that, I'm going to go ahead and put it up here. I was trying to stall a little bit for the garlic.
What?
Everybody knew I was going to say that. They knew I was going to say that. I've done extensive research on garlic. Garlic can definitely be a vasodilator for our blood vessels to create more nitric oxide. So all of those who are dealing with high blood pressure, that's another thing. But we're talking about the viral situation. So what this does is does something called, let me get another. I think I put it on the board. Quorum sensing. So since we are bacterial cells, right? In our body, in our gut, most of all of those immune cells, those neurotransmitters, the bacteria that's there, it allows all of the bad bacteria to just dissipate and remove itself. It doesn't create a good environment for it. You know, the bad cells can't stand the garlic, so they are scared, basically. So this senses off other bacteria, because bacteria also have chemokines in it. They do have chemokines. They're a part of the neutrophil family as well. Bacteria are very smart, you know. So they are able to keep the good bacteria in and remove all the bad bacteria. As far as the immunity part of it, garlic has cysteine in it. You know, it has selenium in it. And I want you guys to do a homework project. I want you guys to write this down. We'll be learning more about organosulfur. Now, organosulfur compounds are all in the garlic. It comes with a germanium molecule. It comes with it definitely comes with these tripeptides in order to enhance the glutathione. Okay. It has selenium in there. It has quercetin. Quercetin helps us with all of our viral conditions, our respiratory problems. The vitamin C that's also in it, and it's all in this little clove. Just taking it raw. When you crush it, it creates something called allicin. And allicin lasts about 60 to about 120 seconds once you put it inside your system, and it just rushes everything through, and it's a very good take about 3 cloves of this per day. It's going to make your entire bacteria just love everything. All right, so it's one thing that it can do is get rid of it's an anti-glycated properties, meaning that it doesn't allow glycation. Stops glycation. What's glycation? Anybody? Glycation is basically when glucose molecules become stuck together. Anyone that has diabetes or any thrombosis, I'm talking about blood clots. You don't want to use the garlic with anything that has heparin in it. Like, the heparin is rat poison, warfarin. So don't use that with that type of medicine, and then it probably will cause the medication to really thin you out, your blood completely thin out. So this is a way to stop those molecules from sticking together. This is a natural way. We already know that this is a natural antibiotic. It's antimicrobial, so things that just build up fungus in the system. Candida does not want to stay around garlic. So I tell my ladies to use the garlic internally, so we can use that for a couple of days to make sure that there is no vaginosis, so that definitely helps out and maintains the pH balance as well. So enough, I could spend a long time talking about garlic.
You said people that take warfarin, the medication, shouldn't eat garlic? Or
Most definitely they shouldn't. They should choose either one because it is a vasodilator and it will create more nitric oxide, and that thins your blood out, and it also stops the glycation. So I think that everyone should be using garlic on a daily basis. We already understand that it definitely has N-acetylcysteine in it, but we're going to add some things in our recipe in just a little bit. So, I don't know if I should start with that. Let's see. I'll wait to start with that. Well, yeah, I have lectures on YouTube talking about the chemistry behind garlic. We know that these are what they call adjuvant molecules inside of the garlic that just has all these magical properties. So my next immune herb, since we know how the immune system actually works, is elderberry. All right, so let me put elderberry up here. Elderberry, the great sambucus. I could put up here the botanica name. Everybody knows it as elderberry. But we know that the ancient sambucus is something that they used. The Egyptians used it. The Greeks used it. This berry is just phenomenal for being immunolytic. It reduces the severity of all of the mucus membranes from them over excreting mucus. The duration of all of your flu viruses, your common colds, it just basically changes a 7-day cold into a 3-day cold, and it stops the reoccurrence. Now that's just when it comes to like common colds and flus and things like that. Elderberry has some unbelievable properties. I'm talking about from taking the T cell and boosting its ability to create more of this MHC class 2. It makes more T cells. To keep it simple, our thymocytes in our thymus can only make a certain amount of T cells. All right, so we have to be able to boost their ability, and elderberry directly boosts that property. So, and it's very beneficial to keep this as a tea or a juice. There's ways that we can make this as a lymphatic cleanse. So I think that you should have elderberry on it shouldn't be taken all the time, but it's definitely something that you should do when it comes to lymphatic cleansing, getting rid of the flu, any type of virus situation. But if a person has the coronavirus, then elderberry may just protect the cilia from its pathogen that's going inside of the respiratory system. So I can probably say more on elderberry. This has what they call proanthocyanins. Proanthocyanins. These are that deep blue color that you see. Basically, it can take away the glycation. It has a good vitamin B6 in there. It takes away glycation as well. It stops glycation. It has like a way for diabetes to just the sugar molecules. It helps insulin gets to those sugar molecules. Basically, all the glucose molecules won't be able to stick together. They can find the insulin receptors. This is another way to help heal a diabetic situation. All right, so it's definitely a mutalytic. All right, so we have the elderberry here. You can make wines out of this. You can make, and we're gonna actually make some wine, guys. We got some wine up here. We got some fermented rice wine. Okay, so that's what we'll be using for our demonstration up here. Another thing, I think that's not on our list for, as I'm thinking about things that actually protect our cells from having cytokine storms, like the person that has an autoimmune situation, he would want to use the garlic, he would want to use the elderberry. And another thing I would say is use something called Agaricus blazei. Do I have any Agaricus blazei up here? It is in the formula stabilizer. The stabilizer formula is for those who have cancerous cells that basically the Agaricus, if you guys wrote that down as the third immune herb. And the reason why is because they have something called beta glucans in it. Let me write that down so everybody knows what beta glucans and the Agaricus. This is a mushroom. Alright. It's a mushroom, and if anyone has ever came to any of my seminars, I talk about mushroom having a mycelium. This is found on all of the beds of the mushrooms underneath that you can't see. Basically, they create a network that they can help feed each other. So what happens is because this is a fungi, all right, it has beta glycans in it. And basically, they start to build a network inside of you. All right, this is something that some of the ancients have used about these mushrooms. They help protect our immune cells. Okay, so they also get rid of cancerous cells. They get them to create the apoptosis situation. So directly, a person that has stomach cancer has to take mushrooms. All right, we got to protect those immune cells in the stomach, those parietal cells, as well as anybody that has gut dysbiosis. They want to use the mushrooms as well. So another mushroom you can use is something like chaga or reishi, shiitake. Those mushrooms really work, but this one has some amazing abilities when it comes to this T cell. All right, so it messes with the CD4 as well. It upregulates and modulates. So they have something called immunomodulation. and we can use the agaricus to help us, just improve our immune system. Make sure that we are on the right levels. This slows down cancer growth. I had took a little bit of, and it modifies what they call the biological response. So anybody that has cancer. So I would definitely, that's the reason why it's on my list. We have to use these mushrooms. Okay, so what's the next one here? All right, so I put on here blue-green algae. Anybody know a name of a blue-green algae that we use?
Sarsaparilla? No.
Which one?
Spirulina.
Oh, spirulina. Spirulina. Spirulina is our blue-green algae. Any other algae that we know?
Kelp? No.
Kelp is a brown algae. But spirulina would be our blue-green algae here. We have other algae like red marine algae. All right, so I'll put spirulina up here. But why? Why we use the spirulina or any type of seaweed? Seaweed. I mean, this has the algae. It grows on top as an algae.
Minerals?
This is my favorite kind. Like the nori, basically nori. It definitely has beta-glucans in it as well. So we just learned what beta-glucans do. It's a soluble fiber. It's made up from polysaccharides, and it definitely helps our DNA. This is another way to protect and strengthen the telomeres on our chromosomes based on the spirulina. The spirulina or seaweed, all of those have the polysaccharides that can help our DNA. So when we get in our mitochondria health class, we'll be talking a little bit more about DNA and its polymers and the things that we need to help strengthen. But spirulina definitely does that, just based on how it gets rid of cancer. And we can use the red marine algae. We know that most of these things have chlorophyll in it. We can say manganese in it. Manganese really protects the mitochondria. So it's one of the trace minerals that a lot of Japanese, they use this a lot. They are some of the longer living people on the planet because they use spirulina, blue-green algae, seaweed, and all those different things. So studies have been shown on spirulina for a long time, but it's definitely, I'll put that as number 4. Any type of algae. So the red marine algae is in the immune booster. These will gel up, so I encourage you to take these out and put them into whatever water or smoothie or anything like that. It also has Irish moss in here, so that's also another algae that we can use. So we're getting down to our 5th herb. I'm in between, guys. I'm in between 2 different ones, and we can use everyone is familiar with the antiviral formula. It's a very famous product. A lot of people order this product. But I'm in between because I have chaparral in there, and I also have the cat's claw in there. The herb of the day shares a lot of information about them. Most people are familiar with the herb of the days, but if a person had rheumatoid arthritis, which is an autoimmune situation where you got T helper cells that are attacking certain joints. So I would use the cat's claw in that situation because it definitely helps those joints when it comes to the autoimmune situation. But when it comes to the chaparral, when a person has a papilloma virus, male or female, they will have to to use the chaparral. It's just really good for getting rid of HPV. You can use it as a douche method. You can use it on the skin. You can use this also as an antiviral spray. Okay, so some of the people that have gotten consultations, we show how to make the antiviral spray in a previous class, but definitely chaparral or cat's claw. So I'm gonna go with both. Gotta go with both. So cat's claw or chaparral. Alright, so guys, I want to share with you guys a little demonstration Let me see if this will play. You gotta take it down. Alright, that's what you call phagocytosis. I was trying to share with you guys how macrophages actually do that, and phagocytes actually do this. So we got all these different, like the chemokines, the cytokines. They are able to alert other macrophages to come in and go off and help protect. So usually if we protect our immune cells inside of our gut, that's 80% right there of your health. Alright, so if you make sure your gut is healthy, you could probably, you can get rid of a lot of things. Serious. Alright. So that was that. Talked a little bit about garlic. I had some, I found some studies here, and it just basically shares how garlic enhances everything. Cytokine secretion, the hemoglobin production. Just some studies that I can share them actually on the group page so we all see it. This shows how elderberry helps out with herpes simplex. Alright, so also with influenza. Also, there are some compounds inside of elderberry that prevents HIV-1 from infecting basically the glycoproteins that I was talking about. It stops them from binding. So that's what this study was talking about, how elderberries inhibits the basically CD4s from becoming infected. So you can use that. Alright, here's another picture that I just found about the Agaricus blase, how it decreases insulin resistance and strengthens the immune system, fights cancer. It's one powerful mushroom. This study right here shares how this mushroom stimulates our innate immune cells. So we're talking about the natural killer cells, the dendritic cells, all of these antigen-presenting cells. The agaricus is there to help mediate that response. think this is something I found it's still on the agaricus, how it has therapeutic peptides. Just some wonderful, wonderful things. Now I had some N-acetylcysteine here, but we're gonna actually make it. So let's get ready to make the compound and how N-acetylcysteine actually is working. I'm just going to cut these up a little bit. You can use a whole bowl of the garlic, right? So I'm just basically crushing this, and what's happening at this time is the allicin is being released. You can smell it. Anybody in my previous class, they understand how I made this contraption right here. Hopefully this is like your little personal filter. And it's good to keep this in the refrigerator, guys. After we finish, we're going to show how, we're using some fermented wine, rice wine. I'm going to estimate we do about a cup or a cup and a half. I have little measuring things right here to show. Why am I using wine? Why am I using alcohol to make this concoction? It can absorb faster, right? Cysteine absorbs faster with alcohol. This is MSM. This is a methylated form of sulfur. So we understand that we're doing a homework class on organosulfur, right? I just want a one-page report on organosulfur and maybe organoselenium. What I'm going to use is about, what did I put on here? 10 grams. I don't think I actually... put this in grams. $10 grams of the sulfur. Well, I can use 20 grams. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. That's less than an actual ounce anyway. So we're going to use 20 grams of MSM. Now, MSM converts over into DMSO in the body. It helps produce nitric oxide. It gets everything through the bloodstream even faster. So if we're talking about all of these compounds, all of this organosulfur, the cysteine, we're going to add glutamine to this because we need something to protect our immune cells, right? So open these capsules. This has a 500 milligram here, so we're using 15 milligrams. Don't be scared to open your capsules. We're going to also add some vitamin C in here, guys. So we know that, okay, this capsule is giving me some time here. Vitamin C is going to also boost your immunity. There are studies about vitamin C getting rid of HIV, herpes. If you start to, where's my vitamin C? Got the selenium right there, vitamin C right here. I sell Sogar products, guys, if everybody that's online. Alright, so what we use the vitamin C for again? It's an antioxidant as well. I was going to do what you call 3 teaspoons of it. Alright. So all of that is our mixture. We can use the selenium. Only 400 milligrams per time that you use this concoction, I need something to actually beat this up with, but I don't have it. My hammer. Stay right there. That's all I got right now. 400 milligrams of selenium. So this is our immune booster, guys. This is our immune booster. Even though I have a product that says immune booster on it, have y'all seen me make this concoction, this filtration system right here? I have to show it another time then. Really needs to run about 5 minutes. Why? Because the heat has to make the extraction. Then we'll filter it out. This will be hot. Really hot. Now the heat has to make this extract from the garlic, all of the different ingredients that we put in here. We want to make sure that it's hot when it's finished. Alright, it's not really hot. We don't have a good extraction yet, you know, so I will filter this out. This will be something very hot. So you will want to take teaspoons of this. This is very powerful. The garlic is very powerful, we know. I think there was a question about elderberry. You didn't want to take it all the time or only take it when you're sick. No, that's not really the case. We know other people, you know, around us can be sick, and we want to start taking it, you know, if we're around other people that's already sick. So it does help fortify the system. Now, a lymphatic flush requires, I want to give you guys the actual protocol for a lymphatic flush. So in order for this to work right, all of this system to work right, we got to do lymphatic flushes. So lymphatic flushes is important. Must do a lymphatic flush. Alright, I'm going to give you guys how to do it. So, about an ounce of the elderberry. That day, that's what you'll be doing per day. So you can make a big batch of elderberries, 3 ounces of each into maybe a half of a gallon. So, matter of fact, yes, let's do a half a gallon. You can do this in 3 days to actually fully get rid of the lymphatic flush. A half a gallon of elderberry juice. We want to do a half gallon of cranberry juice. And Shalom Healing Water. Alright, so the Shalom Healing Water, you can do a full gallon or 3/4 of a gallon. I'll just do 3/4 of a gallon because you guys got to understand, when you're doing a lymphatic flush, you only can eat berries. You can only eat blueberries, cranberries, you can only eat raspberries, blackberries. You can only eat berries. So those are the whole foods that you can eat during this time. This is a 3-day flush. Alright, so you're actually fasting, and when we actually do our water fast, we can do the lymphatic flush with it. Alright, so 3/4 of a gallon of the Shalom Healing Water. What is the Shalom Healing Water? Shalom Healing Water basically is 10 grams or 5 grams of vitamin C. You got all of your B vitamins in there if you want to put them in there if you want to. I usually just require B1, B12, B6 as part of that water. And then you can add zinc in there. These are water-soluble vitamins, so they will all sit in this water. You can make a big batch of it. I'm talking about 2 liters of it. That will probably get you through the 3-day flush. So this is for 3 days. And we'll be doing our fast according to this. Also, you want to make sure, those of you guys that's going to participate in the lymphatic flush and fasting 3 days, you want to get the lymphatic cleanse. I have a formula called the lymphatic cleanse that has it has golden seal, it has white wild indigo roots, it has cleavers. All those are good teas to drink during this time. You can also drink a cleaver's tea during this time. Alright, poke root, it helps pull those lymphatic glands. So this is a 3-day lymphatic flush. If you did this bi-monthly, I'm talking about if a person had HIV, he would have to do this in 3 days every month. Alright, to make sure he's getting these antibodies out of his system. Alright, so we understand what's going on. Alright, so this concoction right here, I may go ahead and strain it just for you guys to see. How do you strain this? You got a lot of fibers from the garlic and everything. I simply do my own little self-filtration thing. This is gonna be y'all already know the smell is like, it's potent. So if you don't have a jelly bag, I don't even recommend a really jelly bag because the holes are too big. So use an old pillowcase or a clean pillowcase, a towel that has the fibers are actually, the cotton fibers are small.
Well, what is that to use?
It's a it's like a very thin towel. So this is like a super garlic mix, you know. You can keep, and it's fermented already. All right, so the fermentation from the wine, it goes really good for your gut bacteria. And it's going, you smell that? Make sure everybody see what's going on. But this is a very easy way to filter. You ain't got to do a juicer or anything like that. Simple. You want to try it? Yeah, but I would take teaspoons of this throughout the day if I was going through a situation. I already take 3 cloves of garlic per day anyway. I just make sure that's in my system. I take it at night. But here is a very potent antioxidant, glutathione builder, immune booster, something that can really help us every single day. I'm talking about any children that has problems with respiratory problems because it's immunolytic. This is building up everything. So here's how we do it. We know the lymphatic flush, and we have all these different ways to heal. Right, so don't forget, use some iodine. That just helps us with everything. I'm talking about metabolism and everything. So that's one of the things we can do if you wanted to. I would rather take this just in my own little thing, but I wouldn't waste it like this and put it in here, just because I think the chemistry doesn't work as well. I think it just needs to be by itself. Alright, so here are magical ways to help us heal. I think everybody, I don't know if anybody asked me about this, but this is apricot pits. They're seeded powder. So this has B17 in it. Has a cyanide molecule there to help kill off cancer cells. This can be added along with the agaricus and all these different things that can help us heal from cancer. Alright, so this is powerful. A powerful immunology class. We know how the immune system works. And if anybody has any questions, I think I can say we completed everything here. Oh, one more thing. Lauric acid. What is this? Coconut oil. Unrefined coconut oil has lauric acid. It helps our colon and it helps eat away some viral proteins. Lauric acid has that ability. You guys can do the further research on that if you just want to check references and things like that, but definitely this compound inside of we make something called a fat soluble drink, and we use fat soluble vitamins to go along with that drink, and we drink about 2 to 3 ounces of it. Alright, so you can use this as another antiviral type of situation, because there's funguses that like to build, like candida. And this has the lauric acid in there to help get rid of the candida as well. So 2 ounces, 2 to 3 ounces of coconut oil. And it needs to be unrefined. And add vitamin D. You know, that helps modulate our immune system, vitamin D. We can add the glutamine in here if we wanted to, because it also is fatty. And I like wheat germ. I like wheat germ oil because if the person had rheumatoid arthritis, this autoimmune disease, or even if the T cells start affecting the T3 cells of your thyroid, you want to use some wheat germ, because that also is a autoimmune situation as well. Anybody that has lupus, any of those things.
Where are we adding that? To the bladder?
This is our fat soluble drink.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what.
Okay. Let me write that up here so everyone knows. This is a fat soluble drink. This is another way to build up our immunity. All right. Well, I want to thank everybody for listening. This is kind of a long class, but all right. God blessings, everyone. Have a great day.